from Hoops Family Children's Hospital back to Heritage Farm. We love doing these virtual meetings with the patients at Hoops Family Children's. We try to switch it up every time so there's a new experience each time. We've done the petting zoo, the wagon ride, so we figured we'd take you up top today to our Appalachian Backyard Adventure, the Tree House Trek. This is a beautiful view of the village. We're up in the canopy of our Appalachian mountain forest. Literally, this is a tree. This is a tulip poplar tree that I am standing right next to right here. So we love to look at the forest hiking from below, but you rarely ever get up in the top. Well, that's where most of our critters live, is up here in the canopy. So we're gonna do some exercise like our critters that live up in the tree canopies. So what do you think of when you think of animals that live in the trees? Probably birds, at least is the first one that comes to my mind. We'll be talking about birds. Maybe some of you said squirrels. That's going to be our first adventure. And also, did you know black bears hang out in trees? They do. So we're going to talk about some of these animals, some of these trees, and we're going to have some fun. All right, here we go. I'm going to skitter like a squirrel does. I'm sure you guys have seen squirrels go from tree branch to tree branch. Here goes nothing. Woo! I am not as agile as a squirrel. I did it! And a squirrel might shake their bushy tail after completing it. Oh, look at that. My dad's putting me to shame. So there you go. We skittered like a squirrel across the tree's canopy. Squirrels are much more lightweight, and you see they have that really long fluffy tail. It's not just for cute looks. That actually helps them balance when they're hopping from branch to branch, like we were hopping from board to board. It helps them balance out when they're leaping because their head is heavy. So something at their back end also needs to be equally as heavy to balance out their weight. So that's why they have those big bushy tails. It's not just to be cute. So we skittered like a squirrel. Now we're going to do the hardest one. This is to climb like a black bear. So black bears, why might they climb in a tree? Well, for one, it's way cooler up there. Two, there might be some good eating up there. A lot of people think of bears as only eating meat, which they do, but actually over 60% of their diet are fruits and vegetation. So they might be climbing up in the trees to get fruits or to get berries or nuts. Honey, everybody who's seen Winnie the Pooh knows they love to get into beehives for honey. So we're going to climb up this rope tree like a black bear. And to do it like a black bear, I mean, I gotta be on all fours, right? All right. My camera guy better not go on all fours. My shoe's coming off. We did it. We made it. All right, my camera guy's doing this one-handed instead of four like me. Here, I'll take it from you. There we go. All right, we did it. We climbed like a black bear. We were much more clumsy than a black bear. But here's why. Black bears' paws have thick pads on them, and they're able to help them grip the hard trunks of trees a lot better. Plus, their arms are a lot bigger than ours. They're able to stretch around the sides. And they really, we were trying to climb while walking. They really scooch on the tree. So it's interesting to watch. They do it like a fire pole, going up or down a fire pole. Now, our next challenge is actually an animal that does not live in the trees. They live under the ground. But we wanted to make a rope tunnel as one of our obstacles. And do you know something native to West Virginia that makes tunnels? Maybe a mole, maybe a snake, but everybody loves a groundhog, right? Groundhogs make complex channels of tunnels all throughout the ground, and they know, even if they're in the pitch dark in the middle of the tunnel, exactly where they are. It's amazing. And they have networks under the ground that take them to all their favorite spots. The watering hole, their den, a place with the tasty eats. They've got it all made under our feet. And so I'm going to tunnel through this like a groundhog, although I am not going to try all fours again. We're going bipedal. So it's really cool to look through all this as you go and see the trees on either side. You can see some sugar maples. I'll talk some more about that later. All right, so now you've got some motivation. You got to get feeling better so that you can come out here to Heritage Farm and conquer these challenges. Skittering like a squirrel, climbing like a black bear, and tunneling like a groundhog. It's a lot of fun. So, we're going to take a moment. We talked about several mammals. Well, now we're going to go to this beautiful treehouse and talk about some birds. Follow me. So, birds. You may think, do you know some names of birds when they come to your mind? Maybe a cardinal. That's our state bird. Bright red, pretty, unique. Maybe you think of a bluebird or a blue jay. Well, we have close to 300 different species of birds just in our state of West Virginia. And a lot of people don't even realize and appreciate that huge diversity. And really, having lots of different species of birds means that we have really healthy forests. Because what do you think birds eat? Well, a lot of you immediately think seed, right? Because you think of bird seed. Well, they do, but seeds got to come from plants. They also eat nuts from trees, fruits from trees, berries from bushes. Some birds eat mice or rats, like birds of prey. Some birds eat fish. Some birds eat insects, like crickets or caterpillars, worms. Birds eat everything. So if there's a wide diversity of birds, which means a bunch of different species of birds, that means that you have lots of other life in the forest that's able to create all the food that those birds need. So West Virginia and the Appalachian Mountains are an amazing place for birds to live year-round and for birds to migrate through. Do any of you guys know what the word migrate means? Some of your grandparents may do this for the winter too. They go down south where it's warmer. They come here to breed, to have their nests and babies in the summertime, and then to continue to stay where it's warm, they fly further south to Florida, to Mexico, to Central America, to South America even. The hummingbirds, if you've ever seen a hummingbird feeder, they come all the way up here and they go all the way back down to the Amazon rainforest. It's incredible. But Appalachian Mountains are where a lot of birds take a pit stop to make their homes for the summer and then go fly back down south. We are the hottest flyway of all the flyways, which is where they call birds migrate path in our nation. So, pretty neat. We'll come out here first and you can take a look at our whole village. You've got to come see this. It's a lot of fun. And you can see all of our museums, our playground, the mountain on the other side. And you know what helps you see it even better? Does anybody know what these are? Binoculars. And binoculars are a tool that helps make things that are far away come up close. And you stick your eyes in them and and you can see even a bird all the way in that black walnut tree over there. So you see the tree all the way out there near the creek? That's a black walnut tree. Lots of birds and squirrels and other animals like those trees because of the nuts that they produce and the furs. And I'm going to show you real quick, if you've never used a binocular, and you put it up to your face and you're like, it's blurry, I can't see anything. This is my #1 most asked question. I can't see anything. I'm going to show you real quick how to be able to actually adjust binoculars to see out of them. Most binoculars all bend in the middle. So if you're smaller, you may need to bend your binoculars all the way to where your eyes are close together. You want both eyes to fit in. If you're bigger, you might need them to spread all the way out. So I'm going to adjust them to fit my eyes. Then if they're still blurry, cover one with your hand and twist the little off right by your eye until it's clear, or the one in the middle until it's clear, and then do the same thing for the other eye. Ta-da! That's how you use binoculars. Lots of people don't even know that. They think you should be able to see when you bring it up. So next time you get to play with binoculars, they won't be blurry anymore. So now let's go inside the treehouse. Remember earlier I was talking about those birds that eat mice and rats? We're going to get to that in a minute. But first, check out this. This tree is amazing. It is alive still. You can see, actually, there on the left, you can see some new leaves growing from it. It is alive. We built this treehouse around this tree so that this tree could continue living. This tree is a tulip poplar tree, like the one we talked about in the beginning. Their leaves, which I'll show you up close later, look like dinosaur feet, I think. So, you can see this huge tree. How old do you think that tree is? Well, it's hard to know exactly for sure, but the best way to get a measurement of a tree is to take one of those measuring tapes, like your grandma uses for sewing, and measure it around the tree and see how many inches in circumference. Just a big fancy word, but it means the distance around a circle, how many inches it is, and that's pretty close to how many years it is. Now, Mr. Audie, do you know that for this tree?
85 years.
85 years. Do you know someone who's 85? I do. My grandma's turning 85 on Monday, who started this place. So there you go. This tree was here when she was born, as a little sapling. Now I'm talking about those birds that eat mice and rats. They're called raptors. Yep, like the dinosaur. Want to know why? Because birds are today's dinosaurs. They can be quite intimidating. They really can. They've got sharp talons, a sharp beak, really great eyesight, and a fearsome call, which we can play here for you in a minute too. But they eat not just mice and rats, but a lot of raptors will eat snakes, fish, frogs, anything they think they can fit in their mouths. And they're huge. You can see the bald eagle's wingspan from tip to tip is 6 feet 9 inches. Do you know anyone who's that tall? Maybe a professional basketball player. Now, the eagles aren't that tall, but that is as wide as their wings stretch when they're soaring in the sky. We're going to see which one's wingspan I'm closest to. So theoretically, your wingspan should be your length as you are tall. I'm pretty short. I'm only 4'11". So really, even though my arms are falling right here, my wingspan is about right here at the great horned owl. The Timmy's wingspan is 4'10". My wingspan should be about 4'11". So there I am. If you're shorter, you might be the smallest on here, but also the fastest on here. The peregrine falcon, the fastest bird, the fastest animal, actually, on the planet. Then, a little bit taller red-tailed hawk, a little bit bigger great horned owl. Ospreys, they eat fish. You might see them hanging out at Beach Fork. Turkey vultures, underrated but super cool. You see them soaring in big flocks in the sky, surveying to see if there's anything that's been hit on the side of the road. They are nature's garbage men. They pick up and eat things that are dead or dying to help keep the forest clean. We need them. They're important. Then bald eagles, of course, they're famous for being our national symbol, and they are also the largest bird on this board. They're not the largest bird in the world, but they do build the largest nests in the world. Now here, another thing birds are quite famous for are their calls. We were just talking about a bald eagle here. I'm going to play a bald eagle call, and will you tell me if this is what you thought a bald eagle sounds like? Seagull, right? Well, that is what a bald eagle sounds like. I'm going to play you the sound of the bird that you think a bald eagle sounds like because Hollywood has stolen their call and plays it anytime an eagle's on the screen. The red-tailed hawk. We'll do that again. There you go. There's your fearsome raptor cry that you're used to hearing. Now, if you're here, I would ask you, and you can comment if you want, are there any other birds you want to hear the song of on here? While I'm waiting to see if anyone comments, I'm going to play the song of our state bird, the northern cardinal. You've probably heard that in the mornings. There you go. You've probably heard that from birds perching on tops of trees in the morning. Has anybody commented one that they want to hear? Okay. So I will say that each bird has different songs and calls to communicate with each other, and other birds of those species know those songs and sing those same songs too. So their purpose is so that they can find each other. Hey! Tweedle-deedle-lee. Anybody else out there tweedle-deedle-deeding? And then they go and find each other. Kind of like you go and holler, hello out there, and see if anybody calls back. That's exactly what they're doing. All right, so now, should we go to the eagle's nest? All right. So I was mentioning that the, that the bald eagle, it makes the largest nest. They're not the largest bird in the world, but they do make the largest nests in the world. Their nests can be 5 feet deep and 10 feet wide. That's huge! And we have made a replica of that here with a lot of the branches that fell during the ice storm from this winter at the end of this deck. So you can see just how big, just how huge a bald eagle's nest is. Look at this. I'm running around. I've got all this room. Why do they need all that room? Well, remember that wingspan? 6 feet 9 inches. So if there's a mommy and a daddy eagle and they do both live in the nest and take care of all the young, spreading out their wings to land on this nest or air out or protect their young, they need this large of a circumference. That's 2 almost 7-foot wingspans being spread out. And then they have all their babies in the middle. And they use the same nest every year. Bald eagles mate for life, they truly do. And they come back to the same nest every year and build onto it. Unless that nest has been destroyed, then they will determine if that's still a safe place to have their nest or not. So that's how they get so huge, is they keep adding on to them every single year too, and repairing holes and things like that as well. So you can see our cool bald eagle here to give you a sense of how big they are, and this is actually made with a chainsaw out of wood, so it's pretty cool to see. But this would be the eagle perching on the side of her huge mongoose home. Alright, so are we ready to head back the other way? Okay. like I said, you got to come back out here and check all this out. When you are feeling better, we would love to host you and your family. So I was listening to hear if I heard any birds right now, but since it's the dead of the afternoon and it's really hot, most birds are sleeping right now. Birds typically are awake in the mornings and the evenings, and those are the best time if you want to go out and listen for birds or watch for birds to see them. In the afternoon when it's really hot and there's not a whole lot of things for them to eat, if they eat live prey out wandering around, you're not going to see as many birds. So now we're going to go back the other way through our swinging bridges. When we do these swinging bridges, you will see how cool crafted they are. Our ancestors actually would have made bridges like this to navigate crossing creeks or crossing ravines to get to their house. Also, come on, we can't ignore him. We gotta show Humphrey. Everybody say hi, Humphrey.
Hi, Humphrey. He's playing with his hump.
He's scratching himself there. Humphrey is our camel. He's here to be in our nativity, live nativity at Christmas Village. But we also love watching him from up here on the tree trunk. He's a pretty funny guy, and he is also very friendly. And he's shedding his fur right now, so he looks a little scrappy, but that's what he's doing over there.
He is rubbing it on that tree,
Yeah,
to help get it off.
Tree.
Yes, we're talking about you.
Yes, we are. Alright, guys, so I want to talk about this tree. See, can you see the leaves from this way, from the phone? So this is a sugar maple. Sugar maple is our state tree. And it's called a sugar maple because it has a lot more sugar in each leaves and a lot more carotenoids, which I'll get to in a second, than a lot of other trees. Carotenoids are what make the leaves turn colors coming up here in about a month in the fall. They are the pigments inside the leaves that show when the sun hits them so much and they start to dry up and fall off. So sugar maples turn the bright red because they're full of sugar, and that sugar helps the leaves really be bright and vibrant, as opposed to a tree with less sugary sap or anything inside turn more of a brown or the light yellow. So the more bright the tree is, the more sugar the sap has. So that's why sugar maple turns that bright red here in a couple months. We'll keep on coming. So here's that swinging bridge I was telling you about. Oh, and here's a little baby black bear come to say hello. He freaks me out like he's alive every single time. I think there's something in that tree. So now we're going back through across this swinging bridge. You can really see the sugar maple leaf here. Okay, never mind, bad idea. I was going to try to grab one for you to see. It has those distinct 3 tips in the middle. So now we're back to a tulip poplar tree, like the one in the tree house and at the beginning where we started. It's called a tulip poplar tree because in the spring they really do grow these huge orange tulips that a lot of people never really see unless they're up in the trees. So if you get the chance, come by next spring for our spring festival and you'll see these big beautiful orange tulips blooming from these trees. That's their flower. That's how they're able to be pollinated. That you see, I said they look like a dinosaur foot, you know, like the foot of a sauropod, a diplodocus or something. Tulip poplar trees are actually also a favorite of many bird species because they have a lot denser leaf cover, and since those leaves are a lot larger than many others, and lots of caterpillars like the leaves of tulip poplars, and so birds that eat caterpillars will hang out in tulip poplar trees to get those caterpillars from the underneath of those leaves. You can tell we've had some caterpillar visitors on a lot of these leaves. All these little holes and things like that are where insects have eaten through them. Alright, we'll come back across the final swinging bridge. Another nice look at this sugar maple. Our animals, our petting zoo animals, really do enjoy the sugar maple because the leaves are a lot sweeter and the bark is sweeter, so we have to keep them from eating the sugar maple tree bark. And now we're back to the beginning. I hope you guys enjoyed our tour of our tree house trek in the Appalachian Backyard Adventure, and we hope to see you all here at Heritage Farm soon.